Okay, so we're actually on one of my favorite problems in all of Leetcode. 383 ransom note. I just think that this one is hilarious because it reminds me of, like an old school movie or cartoon we'd see where someone would write a note, but they didn't want you to recognize their handwriting. So what they're going to do is they're going to cut letters out of a magazine and then like tape them on the page, which I can attest is pretty difficult. So what we're given here is we're given two strings, ransom note and magazine. We're just going to call that R for ransom note and M for magazine. Now, I know that you guys all notice I got some new colored paper and some new colored pens. So it's okay to be impressed. I can take it. So let's say that we'll do the first example, or we'll do one of the examples from Leetcode. They have, ransom note equals A, magazine equals B. Really? Really? That's the best you can come up with, Leetcode? God, it's embarrassing. I got to do everything myself sometimes. Okay, let's come up with a catchy little ransom note. What could we say? Let's say cash or dead. I think that's concise. It's to the point. Gets the real violence across inherent in this situation. You know, this being a ransom note, so there's been some sort of napping, kidnapping, dog napping, like afternoon napping, something like that. Anyway, so let's get our magazine letters and let's go ahead and just for funsies, let's kind of put them in some sort of alphabetical order. And let's go ahead and make this one a valid solution. I think that'll help with our walkthrough. So let's say we've got A, C, couple of D's, couple of D's. And my son's over there smiling. He thought that was pretty funny. Couple of D's, and then maybe an E, and then ... because I don't really feel like writing the rest of that out. So what we have to do, let's see. What do we have to do here? Let's think about this. We could try to do some sort of like two-pointer thing, right? Where we take our big neon pointer here and point at this string, right? And then our other pointer and point at this string and go, okay, is this one in here? Okay, it is. Let's remove that one. And then we're going to go, and then we'll go, and we're going to go, and we're going to go. I mean, this could get really, really bad. I mean, that would be, I think, big O of n squared time complexity. So let's not do that. But what's a way we can compare the count of values from one string in another? Oh my gosh, you're so right. A hash map. Or if we're using Python, which we are, a dictionary. So let's go ahead and make ourselves a dictionary here. We'll just call it RD for the ransom dictionary. And as you notice, they're color-coded. I hope you enjoy that because I sure do. So what we're going to do is we're going to build our dictionary with the values or the characters in the ransom note. So I cannot draw squiggly brackets. So it's going to look like that. Sorry, not sorry. So let's just start at the beginning. So we have C. And we're going to do a tally just because I don't want to erase and write the numbers each time. So we see, or we'll do 1. Now we've got an A, 1 S, 1 H, 1 O, 1 R, 1 D, 1 E, 1 A. Okay, we already had an A up here, so we'll just do another tally mark there. And then D, we'll add another tally. So this may or may not be right. It's late. I'm tired. Had a bad day at work when people say dumb things. So anyway, that's besides the point. So we've got our dictionary, our hash map here of what we need, right? This is the ransom note. We're trying to see if we have enough letters cut out from the magazine to threaten whoever it is we're threatening with, give me your money or something's going to die. Like I said, dog nap, kidnap. I mean, what else? Hey, what else can you nap? Is there money nap, catnip? I mean, okay, this is getting off the rails pretty quickly here. So here we go. So we're napping something, and we're going to check if the magazine has enough letters. So one thing we could do, and this would be totally valid, we could create a second hash set. for the magazine. And we can say, okay, let's do 2 hash sets and then we'll compare, right? We could do that. I'm not gonna. And I'm gonna tell you why. Here's the reason why. We're gonna do our hash set here, and I guess this would work kind of in the inverse, but this is the way I wrote it. So this is the way we're gonna do it. We're gonna go through our magazine, right? And each time we find a value in the magazine, we're just gonna decrement that value in our ransom note dictionary. And if we get below 0 for any of the characters, or no, shit, that's not gonna work. God, you made me swear, Charlie. That's my dog, by the way. Anyway, we might have to rejigger this. Let's think for a second here. So we've got our ransom note. We have what we need here. So, we have what we need. And so in the magazine, that's what we have. So if we don't get to 0, we should have done this the other way. Shoot. We might have to cut and then just rewrite the dictionary. Okay, so we made a mistake, and I think this is important to show that this will happen on interviews. Shh, son, not right now. Once again, this is why the channel is called Coding for Dads. Anyway, so we make mistakes in interviews, and we realize our mistakes, and we go, you know what? I made a mistake. Let me pivot. I'm going to do the same thing, but I made a dictionary out of the wrong string. Okay, so that's what we did. We made a dictionary out of the wrong stinking string. So now we have the dictionary that's made out of the magazine clippings, right? So these are the letters we have available. And that ... let's get rid of that. Okay, this is going to be an invalid solution, by the way. So we've got our magazine clippings dictionary. So we have 2 A's, 1 C, 2 D's, and an E. All right, that might look like an M, but just ignore it. That's a squiggly line. All right, squiggly. It's squiggles. So now what we're going to do is we're going to iterate through our ransom note. And what we're going to do at each character is we're going to do 2 things. All right, we're going to say, hey, is this character in the keys of this dictionary? And if it's not, boom, return false. Cannot do it. No need to continue. Full stop. DOA. And the dog is, God, Charlie, you're disgusting. Anyway, so let's go ahead and just walk through this with our shiny, hot green blue. I don't know. What does it even say? What are you? Store horizontally. That doesn't sound like a color. Horizontally? But I got them in my cup. God. Anyway, pens these days. So we're going to go through. So we're going to iterate through R. So C, is there a C? Yes. All right. So first step, good. But now we also have to decrement that, right? Because we've used that C. It's gone. We can't use it again, right? When you cut the thing out of the magazine, you're done when you stick it to the paper with your glue stick, when you're threatening. You know, let's cut that part out. That's pretty. That I meant in like a first grade, like, this is just getting worse. We're not going to go there. It was supposed to be silly, not violent, not action. But you know what? It's called ransom note. All right. So maybe it was violent. Maybe it's like, let me copy your test or I will fart in your general direction. Moving on, my son says. So now we're at A. YouTube does ask if these videos are for kids, and they are not. Anyway, A. All right, we got an A, so let's cross that one out. S. Oh, no, there's no S. What do? False. We just return false. That's it. It's over. Now, you might be asking yourself, okay, well, how else could we get to false? So let's go ahead and do that. So we have our A. Let's say we've already used these D's up. And then we come to a third D, and it's like, well, there's none left. So we're checking if the key exists, but we're also checking if the value is greater than 0, right? Because if the value of a letter, so like D being the key, right? If the value is 0, we have none left. We also are going to go ahead and return false. So if we get through this iteration that is just checking for reasons for us to return false, if we get all the way through that and don't pop false, then guess what? By default, we get to return true. So enough of this. Let's go over to the IDE and let's start writing some code. All right, folks. So here we are in the dang IDE, and let's go ahead and try and do this in such a way that I don't have to correct my mistake. So here we go. Let's focus. Everybody calm down. Let's focus. So as discussed, we're going to go ahead and create a dictionary from the characters in our magazine. So there's probably a better way to do this, but I'm not going to do it. This is the way I like to do it. So magazine dictionary. There we go. And we're going to go ahead and populate this bad boy. But before we do this, something we didn't talk about, it might not be necessary, but if the ransom note is longer than magazine, like there's no way we need to even run this thing. So we'll do if length of ransom note is greater than the length of magazine. It's just saying there's more characters than we have available. We'll just go ahead and return false. No need to keep going. And let's go ahead. Let's add a test case. Let's do, okay, so we'll do a blah, 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 that's longer than magazine. And let's go ahead and run this. It's going to squawk because it's not returning it. But there we go. So this is longer. Expected it to return false, and it did. So let's go ahead and keep writing. So our magazine dictionary, there it is. And let's go ahead and populate this bad boy. So we'll say for character in magazine, if C in magazine, right? If the character is already in there, then we'll do magazine dictionary at C, increment by 1. Else we'll set magazine dictionary at C equal to 1. Okay, so now we're going to iterate through ransom note. So for C in ransom note. And this is like one of the few problems where we're not actually using like for I in range. It's kind of cool. I don't know. I don't really do that very often because usually you need to do something with the index. But not here. Not today. So for C in ransom note, if, let's see, how can we return false immediately? So if C not in magazine dictionary, right? Then we can go ahead and return false. And so we'll say else, right? So that means it is in there. Well, let's just go ahead and do, yeah, we'll do a nested if statement. I know some people don't like those, but they can bite me. If magazine dictionary at C equals 0, what? Return false. Okay? Because that means, yeah, we did have that character, but we used it up. So else, then, that means that C is in the magazine dictionary, and its value is greater than 0. So we're going to take the magazine dictionary at C and decrement by 1. Okay? And so if we get all the way through this and we haven't popped false, then we'll go ahead and return true. And yeah. As usual, I made a mistake here. So let's see. If C in magazine. If C in magazine dictionary. That'll work better. There we go. Run it. Submit it. And runtime should be big O of n. Oh, n plus. Oh, yeah, that's right. And memory, that should be big O of n because we're creating the one data structure. Oh, big O of m, yeah. So anyway, this is a, there's some extra lines here, right? We can probably combine some of these statements. But for me, this is a pretty simple way to get through this problem. It is one of my favorite because I think it's humorous because it's inherently like violent and destructive because we're talking about ransom notes. And then they have these weak freaking ransom notes. A ransom note A. I was like, oh my God, I'm so scared. What are they going to do? What are they going to do? They catnapped my catnip and they say A.